Are you taking a trip to Italy and want to spend one day in Milan but don't know exactly what to do? Well, today we're going to give you all that you need to know to spend a great day in Milan. And we're going to give you a simple itinerary that will allow you to visit some of the most famous landmarks in Milan most efficiently. Obviously, you won't be able to see everything because you only have one day in Milan.
And there's a lot to see in Milan.
Exactly. But if you follow our itinerary, you'll be able to see the most important landmarks in the city. Now, in case you're wondering, Andrea and I live in Italy, and we love to visit Milan about once a month.
Actually, we were there yesterday.
Exactly. So you can trust us to give you some of the best tips to optimize your day in Milan and make it the best it possibly can be. Hi everyone, I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea, and today we'll give you some great tips to visit Milan in one day. But first, if you like travel-related videos like this one, and happen to learn something,
or just like watching us,
now it's a great time to hit the subscribe button down below, so you never miss any future videos.
Good advice.
Let's begin our video about visiting Milan in one day by talking about how to get around Milan.
This is very important.
Absolutely. Milan city center is quite big, and unfortunately not all the city landmarks are within walking distance from each other. For this reason, we recommend starting your day as early as possible, say around 8:30. That way you'll get to see as much of the city as possibly be. And the fastest way to get around Milan is by subway, or metro as it's called in Milan. Luckily, Milan has a wonderful subway system that allows you to reach pretty much every tourist attraction in the city fast, and it's also very affordable. In fact, a daily pass costs around €7.60 at the time of recording. You can buy the ticket at the metro station using the automatic machine. Also, many newsstands in the train station sells the tickets, or you can tap your credit card on your phone at the station and get through the gate. And that way it's much easier to zip through the lines at the metro. Milan also has an excellent and historic tram system. Some of the trams are more than 100 years old and still in use today, kind of like the one in San Francisco.
Maybe except without the hills,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Taking the tram in Milan is an experience on its own that you should definitely think about it. By the way, the Metro Pass works for the tram as well. So think of it like a bonus that you can recommend. In Milan, you can also use taxis to get around. They are usually quite affordable. However, sometimes traffic can be a bit intense, meaning you won't like be spending a lot of time in the car than visiting sites in Milan. So
yeah, exactly. Taxis are probably not the best option if you only have one day to visit in Milan.
Unless you're very tired.
And if you don't know how to get to Milan or want to find the fastest way to get there, we suggest, check this video up here. Okay, so let's continue with our itinerary for one day in Milan, and we'll start you off at Piazza del Duomo. Now, if you've watched any videos about Milan, I think probably everyone mentions that you should start at Piazza Duomo as a starting point, and there's a good reason. The Piazza Duomo is the true core of the city, and we think, well, every visit should start right there.
Yeah.
At Piazza Duomo, you're going to find three major landmarks in Milan: the Duomo, the Galleria, and of course Rinascente. And if you get here early, you'll be able to take lots of pictures without a lot of people. Now, the main landmark in Piazza Duomo is, of course, the Duomo itself. You can't miss it. This massive church is one of Italy's most famous, and believe it or not, it's the biggest church in Italy. Now, you might be asking, isn't St. Peter's in the Vatican the biggest church? Well, no, because St. Peter's is not in Italy. It's actually in the Vatican City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we strongly recommend you to visit the Duomo, and most importantly, the rooftop of the Duomo, because it's amazing and the views are incredible. However, if you want to do this, you must buy a reserved ticket with an entrance time. Otherwise, you'll probably have to spend half the day waiting in line. Now, right here we have a QR code to buy tickets, or you can check the link in the description.
Good advice. Now, visiting the Duomo will take about an hour, and then you can move on to our next landmark to visit in Milan in one day, and you can visit La Rinascente. So, around 10 a.m., you're gonna go at La Rinascente. La Rinascente is Italy's most famous department store. If you like shopping, the place is for you. La Rinascente is located right beside the Duomo. Inside, it's quite luxurious, and it sells some of Italy's most recognizable luxury brands, like Gucci and Vuitton and Prada and whatever. Even if you're not into fashion or shopping, it's worth visiting, especially if you go all the way up to the top floor where you have several restaurants.
And a wine cellar.
Yes, and with a stunning view of the Duomo and the piazza.
Oh yeah, and there's that too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so after visiting La Rinascente, you do your shopping. You can walk a few steps and visit the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. Okay, so the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, or the Galleria, like the locals call it, is probably one of the most famous landmarks in Milan and probably one of the most photographed. And by the time you get here, it'll probably be around 11 o'clock. Now, walking in the Galleria is a must when visiting in Milan. The Campari bar will be on the corner, and as you walk in to the Galleria, you're going to admire the beautiful glass dome in the middle. In the Galleria, you'll also find Italy's most luxurious stores. I mean, Milan is the fashion capital of the world, and when you come to the Galleria, well, you will understand why. Now, one thing that we like to do in the Galleria is go for a cappuccino at Pasticceria Marchesi.
Absolutely.
Here you can sip a nice cappuccino while having one of their delicious desserts. Now, pro tip, if you sit at one of the tables, you too can have coffee, breakfast, or lunch, and love it like a king. But the price will require a king's ransom. So if you want to save a little money like I do, sip your cappuccino at the bar. It's quite enjoyable.
And affordable.
And by the way, this trick works all over Italy.
Absolutely.
Now, at the end of the Galleria, you will find the next landmark on our itinerary, and that is?
La Scala Theatre. So you can arrive at the Scala Theatre around 11:30 in the morning. La Scala Theatre is probably the most famous and prestigious opera house in the world. In fact, tickets for the first opera of the year, called La Prima della Scala, start at €3,000 per person, just that past December. The theatre is located in Piazza Scala at the end of the Galleria. Inside you can see a museum of opera artifacts and some costumes used by performers, such as Maria Callas, Luciano Pavarotti, and many more.
And who's also from Modena, right? Where we live.
Like the Duomo, if you want to visit La Scala Theatre, we recommend you to buy the ticket in advance to avoid waiting in line a long time.
Because you only have one day.
Yeah. By the way, you can scan the QR code or check the link in the description down below for the tickets.
Yeah, so if you're not into opera, you can skip the museum, of course, altogether and walk straight to our next landmark in Milan, and that is Via Monte Napoleone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This long street is in the center of the fashion district of Milan. Here you can find more of the highest end stores that sell clothes, shoes, and jewelry. But unlike the Galleria, not all of the stores are super expensive. Actually, well, I get some of my clothes in this area and they don't cost too much, but I do get to say I bought them in Milan.
Yeah.
Now, here's a secret about Via Monte Napoleone that not many of you will tell. It's not unusual to run into the paparazzi taking photos of celebrities who are shopping. I guess it's kind of like the Rodeo Drive in LA. Only much more low-key. Now at this point, this is when I am usually ready for a bite to eat, and I usually like a little tremezzino, which is an Italian-style sandwich that you can pick up at, historical bars, and I like cova. My personal favorite is chicken and avocado, but they also have other options as well. And like I mentioned before, if you get it at the bar, you're going to pay a lot less than sitting down. Now on the way out, you also have the opportunity to buy some delicious gelato, but I would hold off for later.
Right. At the end of Via Monte Napoleon, you will find Piazza San Babila, where you can catch the Metro line, Red Line, to the Cordusio station for a nice coffee. So by now it's going to be around 1:30 in the afternoon and you arrive at Piazza Cordusio. Here at Piazza Cordusio you'll find the largest Starbucks in Italy and it's a reserve location. In fact, this place is bigger than any reserve store I found all over the world.
Not to say that it's biggest.
No. And here's a fun fact. They roast the coffee at Starbucks location for all over Europe. Now, at this location, the line for coffee can be pretty long. So, if you're short on time, you can have just a cocktail upstairs. Used to buy some t-shirt or water bottle, or have a little bathroom break downstairs. And then, after this, you can walk to our next landmark in Milan, which is the Castello Sforzesco.
Ah, right. So the Sforzesco Castle. Why do I always get all of these hard names in Italian? Okay, this is a huge fortress built in the 15th century by Francesco Sforza. Maybe that's why it's called the Sforza Castle. He was a Duke of Milan. The fortress is huge, and inside the castle you're going to find several museums and art collections and ancient armors and so on. Unfortunately, with only one day in Milan, you may not have the time to visit all the museums and exhibits in this castle. However, you will have the time to walk around the courtyards and have a look at how this impressive structure is put together. You should also walk to the huge Parco Sempione on the opposite side from the castle where you entered. And this is Milan's biggest public park with beautiful trees and flowers. And at the end of the park, you can also admire the Arco della Pace. And this is when Milan was the capital of the Napoleonic Kingdom of Italy. And by the time you're done at the castle, it'll probably be warm out, especially if you're visiting in the summer. And you know what that means? Gelato. And there are tons of places to get gelato here.
By the way, if you want to know how to get the best gelato and the most authentic gelato in Italy, check out this video up here. And then, after having gelato, you can walk another 10 minutes to our next landmark in Milan, which is Santa Maria delle Grazie. You arrive at Santa Maria delle Grazie around 4 p.m. This church of Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan doesn't look like much outside, but inside you'll be able to admire one of the most famous frescoes in the world, Leonardo da Vinci Last Supper.
I mean, isn't it a mural? I mean, I remember it. It was amazing.
Yes, Rick. A fresco in Italy is a painting on the wall, and it's called fresco because it's painted on fresh plaster. If you want to see this masterpiece, and you should see it for sure, you will absolutely need to reserve a spot in advance because only a small number of people at the time are allowed inside each day. This is because the painting is degrading pretty quickly and they want to control the climate inside of the room to preserve the best they can the painting. And like before, here's a QR code for you to check it out or check it out in the description below for the tickets to go visit the Last Supper. By now you should have worked out quite an appetite, and it is time to visit one of the most fun areas of Milan for dinner or aperitivo and conclude your day in Milan. From Santa Maria delle Grazie you can either take a taxi to the Naviglio Grande Canal or walk back a few minutes to Cadorna train station. Here you can catch the green metro line to Porta Genova station.
Right, and as we saw yesterday, it actually isn't all of that far away. Okay, so the Navigli are ancient canals connecting Milan to the Po River and the sea. I thought Venice was the only city with canals, and then we visited that other town. What was that town that we visited?
We visited Comacchio.
Comacchio. And now we discover that there are canals even in Milan. How
Absolutely.
cool is that? Now, these canals were in use for centuries to transport goods and building blocks. Building blocks, of course. Now, some of the canals were also designed by Leonardo da Vinci himself. Today, the canals are no longer used for transportation, but the area along the Naviglio Grande is one of the most popular and vibrant areas for restaurants and bars. You can tell it's one of our favorites, where you can have an aperitivo or grab some dinner while people watching, watching the people go by. Now, this area gets incredibly busy at night, especially on weekends, and it is a perfect place to end your visit in Milan in a day. Now, we had an aperitivo on the barge yesterday, and it was fantastic. There was some food, drinks, and a guitar player while the barge sailed along the Naviglio Grande. It was really nice to sail at sunset, having a glass of wine or a spritz. Now, if you want to know more about the aperitivo on the barge, as usual, feel free to check out the cue card or the link in the description. And if you have more time, you can stay for dinner in the area or go back to any of the spots that you may have liked or have missed along the way.
Wonderful. Well, folks, this is all we got for you today. As usual, if you have any question or you want to know more, leave a comment below. We love to hear back from you and answer your comments the best we can.
And if you happen to see us out and about here in Italy, don't hesitate to say hello, right?
In the meantime, we'll see you on our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.